Welcome back to another illustration vlog. Today I will be drawing the Nutcracker as part of my childhood stories and fairy tale illustration collection. Today's video was specifically released during the month of December to also be part of a month of Christmas themed videos. This is a recording from earlier in the year in September, when I was making new Christmas themed artworks for the end of year markets. My Nutcracker drawing is a Christmas themed illustration based on E.T.A. Hoffmann's story, The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. The Nutcracker is one of my favourite Christmas stories, so it was easy to pick when I was brainstorming Christmas-themed artworks to create. The story includes a lot of themes I enjoy, like vintage interiors, ballet, and Christmas trees. In this illustration vlog, we are starting at the ink outlining stage of the final artwork. The pencil markings already in place were traced from the digital draft, and now I'm tracing over again. And now I'm tracing over them again with a fine 005 fine liner pen. Currently I use the Pigma Sakura pen. I have started my outlining by drawing the Christmas tree. The tree will take up the most amount of space in this illustration, and all its branches with tiny pine needles will take some time to draw. I have outlined all the hanging ornaments and decorations and am now drawing out the tree details. When outlining the tree branches, I start with a thicker pen, this time using a 01 size. This is because the outlines have no body to fill in and render later. The outlining process for the branches will be the rendering process too, as they are just line work. So to save myself time from having to repeat too many layers of line work later, I start with a darker line from the start. I found in my experience this has been hard to do, but as I draw more I become more confident with my lines and am able to start with thicker lines when it works. The tree is also dark in tone, so we'll need a stronger line work overall. To draw the branches, I start with the longest line for the centre of the overall branch. I try to keep this consistent by adding pressure to the pen at the start and end of the stroke, and more lightly in the middle. I will do this throughout all the centre strokes of the branches. I then add small branch markings moving from the tip of the branch inward to the end of it. These strokes are added quickly with a slight curve. During this period when creating this artwork, I didn't record a lot of the extra parts of the process like in my previous illustration videos. I was on a bit of a time crunch with this artwork, and not having to record all the extra bits helped make the process faster. So for this video, you will just see the time-lapse part of the final drawing. I generally allow myself a month per illustration in between normal work and life, but this time I wanted to get 2 artworks done in 1 month, so I allowed 2 weeks per artwork and made them smaller, being A3 size, to get them done in time. As part of having this video published during a month of Christmas themed videos, I only had room for 1 video for this illustration vlog. I aim to release 1 video a week, and generally my illustration recordings are so long that they require at least 2 videos. To fit this into 1 video, I had to speed up my recording significantly, so you unfortunately are not seeing this in real time, but will still see the overall process. So the whole start to finish of this artwork will be included in one video that you will see this week. The ink outline of the tree is complete, and now I am drawing the outline of Clara next. Clara is standing next to the Christmas tree, holding a nutcracker and in a ballerina pose. She is the main character in this piece and takes focus in the artwork next to the tree. Next I am drawing the outlines of the Christmas presents under the tree. In a typical Christmas style, there will be lots of presents under the tree. The presents show variety in an abundance of sizes. There are also different kinds of bow ties too, that also have different thicknesses and looks. As an illustrator who sells handmade products online and in markets, I try to make new Christmas content when I can, and this was a great concept for my childhood story theme. To reuse this artwork in a market environment, I will later design cards, prints, bookmarks, and stickers using this artwork. Moving on to the floor space around the tree, I tried to visualize a room that was old-fashioned, but also visualizing an environment that you could tell kids had lived in. And so, I fill the bottom left foreground with toys on the floor that have been left there overnight, as if a child will come back to playing with them the next morning. To start off these props, I draw a teddy bear sitting upright with a bow tie on. Next, a book left open, ready to turn the next page. Then a toy wind-up mouse with a crown on its head to represent the Mouse King. Here I am drawing a toy train set to fill the bottom of the page. The last piece of the train set is similar to a sleigh with bags of toys sitting in it. Now that the toy props are outlined, next I will outline the rug edge with its decorative pom-poms. Moving to the right of the page, I am adding a toy rocking horse. All these toy props are based on what you might picture in traditional Christmas toy themes, and complement the room. All these toy props are based on what you might picture with a traditional Christmas toy theme, and they also complement the room. This was one of my last drawings for my series for the year, and I plan to draw it in time to sell as Christmas products at markets. So I started nice and early in September. These artworks take a long time to complete, with their fine points and details, so I like to plan ahead alongside full-time graphic design work. By the time it gets to mid-October, I have a lot of events and markets on going to the end of the year, so it's good to make time earlier to concentrate on these pieces. And this artwork in particular, I made for the end of year with its Christmas theme. To finish the bottom of the page props, I've added a pet kitten sleeping on a pillow. It looks peaceful and calm, like it could be purring away. The cat sleeping helps to set the scene that it is the evening, being the night before Christmas. Another prop in this visual hinting to the night before Christmas is a cup of milk and cookies. They sit on a small, decorative and old-fashioned coffee table. This platter has been set up for Santa to snack on while he drops off presents. It is another typical Christmas tradition that many recognize. In the back corner of the room sits a grandfather clock, showing up that it is almost midnight. The grandfather clock has an owl perched on top of it, which is often depicted in the Nutcracker story. The clock plays a crucial role in signalling the start of the magical events in the Nutcracker story. As the clock strikes midnight, it marks the transition from the real world to the fantastical dream world. The striking of the clock is a pivotal moment, triggering the battle between the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. The owl on top of the clock is often associated with wisdom and the supernatural. Its presence atop the clock adds an element of mystery and magic to the scene, emphasizing the enchanted nature of events that are about to unfold. Moving to the interior of the room, I am now sketching out a set of stockings over the fireplace. A Christmas garland is placed over the mantelpiece, decorated with tiny cherries. And a set of tall candles sit on this spot too. All these props add to the feel of a Christmas setting. The use of candles is a reflection of the time the story is setting, and also adds to the ambience of the warm, soft glow from the candles or the fireplace, creating a cozy environment. Above the mantelpiece hangs a wreath, and on the ceiling hangs some Christmas lights. The house environment in the Nutcracker is designed to invoke feelings of warmth, comfort, and joy, typically of a loving family home during the Christmas season. This setting reflects the elegance and festivity of a traditional Christmas celebration, enhancing the timeless appeal of the story. The interior and furniture has a Victorian or early 19th century style, reflecting the period in which Hoffmann's story was written. The room is adorned with beautiful Christmas decorations, adding to this festive feel. main props in the house are sketched, I will be focusing on the room interior details, such as the walls and what is attached to them. I start this process by adding the ceiling skirting boards and then outlining the line work of the wall edges and details. All these elements are designed to appear more decorative than the modern household. This room gives off the environment of a grand, old-fashioned place that is rich with detail. The walls on the right side of the room are done, and now I will move to the left side. Behind the Christmas tree is a wall of curtains that open up to a large window. Once again, the curtain look is old-fashioned. It has decorated, gathered bundles of fabric at the top with tassels embellished on the edges of the material. The main curtain area is pulled back and held in place at the sides so the window is visible. Once the curtain is outlined, next I will trace over the window frames. The ink outlining is now complete, and I'll move on to the first overall render of this artwork. Starting with Clara, I begin by filling in the details of her dress. Clara is pictured in a loose-fitting polka dot nightgown with frill sleeves and bow ties. I will start the render by shading the polka dots and stripes through her dress. I then make dark lines over the outlines of her dress and hair. To fill in the tone of her hair, I draw hair strands. moving with the flow of her hair. Next, I shade her shoe ribbons so they are the same dark tone as the polka dots. While I'm in the area, I make a darker outline over the frills under her dress. I make a dark outline through the stripe outlines to match the overall level of detail. I make small horizontal markings up the gathering line of her dress. Next, I draw over her arm and sleeve outlines. I now move on to the presents by giving them an overall dark outline. This is done with broken lines and a 01 size pen. I go through and shade either the wrapping or the ribbons of each present. I generally swap the shading so the same shading isn't done next to each other. A present with the wrapping shaded will have a present with the ribbon shaded next to it. The shading is done through layers of cross-hatching, shading more in the shadowed areas. I take a moment to work on the bottom of the Christmas tree. I add dotted or broken line work over the branches to make them darker where needed. To match this level of rendering, I make dark outlines over the ornaments. I mark the left side of the ornaments significantly more than the right to show where the shadows and lighting are coming from. Moving down to the props, I render the teddy bear first, following a similar order to the outlining process. I make dark fur strokes over the outlines and then shade fur markings from the left side of the bear and fading out as we move to the right. For the book, I make dark broken outlines across the silhouette of the book and then shade the visible parts of the book cover. I draw page markings in between the open page and the cover. To render the mouse, I shade tiny fur markings across the body and repeat this with layering in the shaded areas. I make a dark outline over the other areas and cross-hatch for shading. Next, for the train set, I make similar dark outlines and shade where needed. For the rocking horse, I start with the hair, adding hair strands to the mane and tail. I then make dark outlines in the shadowed areas. Next, I shade any toned areas over the saddle, collar, and rocking stand. This is done through repetitive line work and cross-hatching. Now I begin working on the coffee table, shading the legs with horizontal lines repeated up along the legs. I then outline the details of the table, cup, and cookies. For the kitten, I shade the body to a darker tone with small fur markings and outline the bed. Next, I'll continue rendering through the artwork. Moving into the background, I work in a similar order to the outline process. I hope you've enjoyed this Christmas-themed illustration time-lapse. I love the cozy Christmas theme, and I am excited to share some of my Christmas recordings this month from over the years. If you're wanting more Christmas content after this video, my previous video was a month of Christmas-themed activities, and later this month I'll be sharing videos of gingerbread making and clay ornament sculpting. Although I share videos of my art creation most of the time. on this channel, I also like to share the other creative things I enjoy and life activities that inspire me. The Nutcracker has always been a standout Christmas story for me. It includes all the classic and timeless visuals you would picture when thinking of a traditional Christmas. As someone living in Australia and having Christmas in the summertime, this idea of Christmas comes across even more nostalgic and festive to me. I also appreciate the link the Nutcracker has to ballet, and I like the idea of showing this connection in Clara's pose. That is all for my voiceover in this video. Enjoy the rest of the time lapse with some Christmassy music, and next time I'll be back with a tutorial on building a gingerbread village.